All right, welcome to Baltimore. Mike Catalana. I'm Jenna Cottrell. Dan Fates in the studio back in Rochester. We're talking this Bills game against the Ravens. Before we get started, please be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. All right, Mike, it's Saturday before the game. You're tangled up in the microphone. That's a good way to start. Let's talk about the 5 players to watch out for. We usually don't say Josh Allen.
Yeah.
But a little bit of a bounce back after the loss against Miami. I think he's one of the guys we need to talk about because while that loss wasn't solely on him, kind of an uncharacteristic game in some spots for Allen.
Yeah, we don't go by the numbers. Josh always puts up numbers. He put up 400 yards passing. But all of you know that it wasn't a game that meets his standard, and he's raised that standard. He threw for a lot of yards, but they weren't good in situational football. That's what caused them problems. And we've talked about the short yardage stuff, the throw to Isaiah McKenzie, the fumbled snap, like all those things. That was the difference between a win and a loss. Now, tomorrow, here behind us, he's going against Lamar.
Yeah.
And they have respect for each other. They mean so much to each other. But, Jenna, this game for Josh Allen is also about MVP. And I know he's not thinking really about MVP right now. Maybe a little, right?
Yeah.
It is a little bit.
I don't know, Jim.
Yeah. That's your Tony Romo voice. I think it's this head-to-head matchup, like with Mahomes, like with Lamar. Yeah, he's not playing against Lamar. But come on. This game, by the way, I wanted to say this to you. Why is this not a night game? Why is this not a primetime game?
I don't know. I mean, when the schedule came out, it was like Lamar against Josh Allen. Like you said, the MVP candidate situation. It's early on. I'm sure Josh wants the win and all these things. But obviously, he also talked about it at practice this week. He needs to be better. That end of the half situation, the pass to Isaiah McKenzie. In moments like that, he let himself down. And this is the bounce back effort he's trying for here tomorrow against Baltimore.
Yeah, I mentioned that about the standard because sometimes I think people think you're being critical of Josh Allen when he's still a great player.
Yeah.
The bar is here. You can't see it. He's set it that high.
And he's elevated it every season.
So we expect, I have to say, we expect greatness out of him. Not perfection, but greatness. He had moments last week. But he wants a lot of those throws back. He wants a lot of those plays back. What Josh Allen does, as well as anybody in this league, is puts points on the board. And they failed. I mean, they really only had 17 points against the Dolphins team. They had the ball all day. So I look for that. Again, Gabe says he's playing. He's got Diggs. Get Dawson Knox involved in the passing game. Left unsaid with that, Dawson's been asked to do a lot more blocking with problems with the offensive line. So people are wondering about the targets. But, McKenzie, get all those guys involved in the passing game.
You bring up the offensive line. Spencer Brown in his second season. He's a guy that had some flashes last year. He struggled against Miami, left due to heat illness. He's someone that I'm looking out for in this game because not the best showing against Miami or really so far this season.
No, and even go back to last year. Like when he first came on the scene, when he got out there, he was running people over. He brought that physical element to the team.
He's enormous.
He is. And you're looking for that. But first and foremost, if you're going to play offensive line for the Buffalo Bills, you got to pass protect. Because Josh Allen is your quarterback. Give him some time. And that right side of the line has been a problem. Now, they've had injuries there and other guys trying to fill in. And again, he only played part of the game last week before he had to go out. David Quessenberry's in there. Also, expected maybe Mitch Morris is playing, which helps the whole offensive line. But I want to say that I thought Roger Saffold struggled in the game too. And I thought the entire interior of the line, without Morris out of there in the game, was a problem. But Spencer Brown, that right side, this is not a great defensive line for the Ravens. They've got injuries on that defensive line. Michael Pierce is out.
They don't get a ton of pressure.
No, and I want to see Spencer Brown play like the guy that they believe they drafted. And I think that'll be a key for him because, the line in general's got to play better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they would be, again, the first guys to tell you that. I think Spencer Brown is a player that wants to do better. He struggled again last week. He's a guy that's trying to, not just be in the lineup, but make an impact in that lineup. So we're still waiting to see that. All right, talking about some other guys. The safeties, Jordan Poyer is questionable to play. I believe he will be out there on Sunday against the Ravens, but let's talk about Jaquan Johnson, Damar Hamlin, what they looked like last week. And then also, what do you expect to see from them?
So I go to pregame, and you're thinking, if Damar Hamlin and Jaquan Johnson get the results that they ended up getting in that game, you would have taken it in a heartbeat. They gave up that one play over the middle. Huge play.
Huge play.
But they gave that up. Only a 3-man rush. Like, they didn't get pressure on Tua on that, but they gave that up. But I thought they played well. But honestly, I like Jaquan Johnson. I've always liked him. I haven't seen that much of DeMar Hamlin. I like the way Hamlin played. He's aggressive. He had a great blitz on the one play that I think Greg Rousseau got the sack. I'm not sure if they gave any of it to Hamlin. I'm trying to remember what happened. All I know is Hamlin came in, and I'm wondering, maybe he matches up with Poyer. Like, it's no guarantee that Jaquan Johnson's the starter. They have this sort of way they work the safeties, and it's sort of defined that, Micah's more as the deep guy, and Jaquan, and Poyer's more in the box. Yeah. But with these other two safeties, I think maybe it's a little more fluid, and I think Poyer can do a lot of different things. So let's see. Unless it's more like the rookie corners, and you're splitting some reps out there, getting both of them on the field, depending on what kind of defense they want to play.
That is one thing that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, and also just wondering if Poyer will be out there. Again, I do expect him to play. We'll know more about the inactives that are released an hour and a half before the game. But
the other part of that is we know who Lamar's going to throw to.
Andrews.
It's 40% of his completions are to Andrews. That's number one in the NFL.
That's crazy.
40%.
Crazy.
And he's a physical player. He goes up and gets the ball. He's a matchup problem.
That's the one thing that worries me, is just a big, tough, physical tight end. We've seen the Bills struggle against them.
Yeah. I mean, he's not Gronk.
No.
He's not that dominating when Gronk was Gronk, but he's pretty good.
But everyone knows in the stadium where Lamar Jackson is looking to throw to, and it's Mark Andrews. So that brings up the point of linebackers. We can talk about some of the guys. I mean, Matt Milano. The Bills have done well when Milano has been on the field in terms of kind of shutting down that strong tight end presence. But what do you think they do? Will we see Terrell Bernard? Like, what do you expect? Because I feel like he's a guy that, I feel like the Bills want him out there.
Yeah, I think there's moments for the third linebacker. I wonder if Bernard could give them some in-the-box, and this is just me, in-the-box safety play. I think he's an athlete. I think he can run. I'm not saying, if they get Poyer back, maybe they have enough there, but I'm just talking about he can run side to side. He can make plays. Look, I will say the other thing is the Bills linebackers have done well against Lamar. I mean, you go back to the playoff game.
And didn't they have A.J. Klein out there on the field?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Another tackler. So let's see what they end up doing. Matt Milano had that little kind of smirk the one time when it's something about Lamar. I think Dan
I
asked him that
forgot
question. And then he, but hey, you don't want to call out Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying they're doing that.
No.
I'm saying is they feel confident that they can tackle him. Jermaine Edmonds can run side to side.
Yeah.
Milano's good at that. Everybody, the thing about him is Josh can run, right?
Yeah.
Lamar can run to the house. Josh is an excellent runner.
Yes.
Lamar is a dynamic speed, 75 yards to the house. You make a mistake with him, he's gone. So, you got to stay in front of him. You really do. You can't miss. You whiff on him, and what does Tremaine says, get a population to the ball, right? Get a bunch of guys to the ball. I think that needs to be a big thing that they're doing.
Well, I even talked about, and Dan mentioned this earlier this week, it's one thing saying, you need to be disciplined, and you need to, set the edge, and you need to do all these things. It's you also have to bring down Lamar Jackson in space, and that's kind of easier said than done, and we've seen evidence of that.
I'm just picturing the guy, I got the edge, and then you're looking behind you, and there goes Lamar.
Yeah.
And look, he's thrown the ball so well this year. Yeah. He has been really good at it. He's making good decisions.
Yeah.
He's become a better quarterback. He's looking for the money, and he's playing.
You're doing the crab.
Yeah, he is. He's playing that way. So, and then it's going to be up to the fifth group that we're going to talk about, which is the guys on the corner.
The guys on the corner.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, now Kaiir Elam.
Oh, I forgot. I was like,
yeah, well,
I forgot this.
Elam. So a little inside baseball.
There's
here.
actually a guy over there on the corner.
How you doing? That's no one on the Bills. The guy's playing corner.
Yeah,
Kaiir Elam played well last week, I thought, and it's really a shame that we don't have Christian Bernard out there, and he's going to be out. Bedford, I can't remember. Bedford. Why I do that all the time, because we were just mentioning Bernard. But we thought they were going to have Xavier Rhodes, and that's not going to happen in this game.
Yeah.
So let's see what they end up doing out there. But I really thought, let me tell you something. Dane Jackson, and you were there talking to him, That kid is tough. The fact that he's got a smile on his face when he's talking about everything, and he's optimistic, and I think he believes he's going to play in the game.
He was glowing, just
Yeah.
talking about getting back out onto the field, and he said he hates like watching the video. He like cringes at it. It's like no more watching that video. But the fact that it's now been 11 days, 12 days, coming up on 13 days, less than 2 weeks since he had that hit, and he's looking like he's going to be out there on Sunday. Going back to Kaiir Elam really quick though, he's a guy that I think, we heard so much about him being a hard worker coming out of college, when the Bills drafted him 23rd overall. At practice this week, we're always waiting for the players to come out to do some of the stuff at the podium in terms of talking. And I looked behind me and I'm like, Kaiir Elam's still out here in his full pads, all this stuff. And, a couple guys talked, Josh talked, Von Miller talked, and I turn around and I'm like, Kaiir is still out there on the jugs machine, and he was the only one out there. And that's just something that I tweeted after practice because I was like, it's one thing, he knew he was going to get this opportunity, but I feel like he is really trying to take advantage and be ready and to play well. And just those little extra moments always stand out to me because it's like everyone's working hard. If you're a professional football player, like it's hard to mail it in when you're asked to step out in the field and it's as dangerous as it is. But that did impress me on Wednesday.
It's interesting how it's played out for a Kaiir because started out with you're the number one guy. And everybody expects him. You're going to be starting opposite Trey, and then Trey's not ready. Yeah. So it's Dane Jackson and Kaiir, and then Christian Benford goes ahead of him.
Yeah.
And then he's getting the more snaps, and then he plays better, and then Christian gets hurt, and Dane had been hurt, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, Kaiir. Not that the good news is he's been getting snaps.
Yeah.
It's not like he hadn't been playing.
He was a project
mess.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no, he's been out there playing, but he's sort of reestablishing himself. And look, on the plus side going forward, Dane Jackson's played well. Get him out there.
Yeah.
Both rookies have played well. And after this week, we'll see where Trey is. He can come back to practice, and then we'll see where he is going forward. So it gets better, at least from right now, for where the corners are going to be.
That's why, someone asked me earlier this week, they're like, do you think the Bills are they no longer Super Bowl contenders, all this stuff? I'm like, no, I still think they're fantastic. They're injury bitten. But like you said, I expect those guys to be back out on the field. It is week 4. I still have, they had a bad week, but again, sometimes I think that week 3, those losses like that are just an opportunity to be like, all right, guys, we need to do this better. We need to execute this better. It kind of refocuses your attention because when you win, it's a little easier to kind of take a step back and be like, oh, we got this. It's good, guys.
Yeah, and I want everybody to know, when I'm leaving the station in Rochester late at night, Jenna is still on the edit bay, working and working and working. That's the way she is,
No, I'm already home.
Extra reps. And when we're on the road, she is studying that menu for wherever we're going to eat.
That is accurate. I am Googling. I am Yelping. I am looking everywhere to make sure that we go to the best restaurant.
Yeah.
And we've had some good restaurants.
I just say, Jenna, pick, and I'm good, wherever it is.
We'll see how it goes tonight. I can't remember the name of the restaurant.
Yeah.
It was a weird name. It's like Rusty Sputter, I think.
Rusty Scupper?
Rusty
Scupper.
Scupper?
Yeah, but isn't that a chain? Is that a chain?
I don't know. Matt Beauvais of 7 Eyewitness News picked it, so we can blame him if that's the case. Because I was
or we can just go to Chili's.
We might later. I can see us hitting up the airport Chili's.
Airport Chili's when we're getting out of here.
All right, thank you all so much. We should go.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. For Mike, I am Jenna. Please be sure to you check out Buffalo Plus after the game. We'll have plenty more insight and analysis as well as some post-game interviews. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment. What should we have the comment? Who is the player you are looking out for to watch on Sunday as the Bills take on the Ravens? All right, thanks for joining us. Again, subscribe. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time here on Buffalo Plus.
Good stuff.